Okay, we discussed all these points. And just now I briefed about these things. And the major types of joins is like normal join, left outer join, right outer join. Maybe we'll call in the database side, and then coming to joiner, right? Normally we'll call as a detailed outer join and master outer join. Okay, and yesterday we performed this lab. Now, so anyone have any idea about this lab? Okay, maybe what I can do, maybe I'll provide the kind of an all these presentations to you. Okay, so but like my only point is, if you have this presentation, right, maybe you will get the direct answer to that form to fill. But my intention is to, you need to research in a Google or like a YouTube or somewhere. Okay, or like at least you have to come back to me. Okay, so that's the reason like I'm not sharing these lab parts. Okay, whatever the PPTs. But if you still insist, definitely I can share it. But anyway, maybe I'll do one thing. Maybe I'll give like a 1 day gap before sharing it, so that at least you'll think and you'll spend some time to analyze the concepts. Okay, and those forms will be there like until you finish your class. Okay, so maybe you can go back anytime. Okay, those forms, and try to fill those forms. Fine. So today we are going to a different session. Okay, so are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Chit.
Can you be in the mute? There's a lot of background noise. Thank you. Okay. Now the next thing, lookups. Okay. So I mean, I don't want to depend on my slide to explain the concepts normally. So normally, what I feel is like better to put my experience in terms of a class. Okay, that is what normally I believe. But even before going to even to that level, right? So first try to understand what is a lookup in a high level. Okay, theoretically, think like this. A lookup transformation is kind of an active as well as a passive transformation. Okay, so hope you know, right? Active means if the number of the records are changing by applying a transformation. Okay, that transformation is called a active. Why I'm saying it's active as well as a passive? Because earlier, like maybe before like a 9.x version. Okay, so the lookup transformation used to return whatever the incoming value is coming, it's only written like a one outgoing value. But like 9.x version onwards is become like a kind of an active. That means even if I'm sending one record, okay, there are chances you might get like a multiple records. But how? What is the purpose of this thing? Okay, now try to understand. A lookup transformation is used to look up the data on different kind of an objects. So what does it mean? For example, I am bringing the data from employee table. Okay, let me explain you by using an Excel spreadsheet. So for example, I'm having an employee table, okay, and I'm having a target employee table. Maybe it's a kind of a dimension table, dimension employee table. Okay, excuse me. This employee table is consist of like a different columns. Okay, so what are those columns? Basically, you can call them as an employee number, salary, or maybe employee name, and maybe its location. Make sense? So this is the employee table. Now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to load this data into another table. Okay, where other than like that, instead of location, I'm having kind of a salary. So this column is not coming from a source. Okay, so but this column is available maybe in some other table that is not part of my mapping, or that is not part of my code. So somewhere this salary is available. Okay, so in a different table, maybe just think about the table is a kind of a salary table. Okay, just think about the table as a salary table, and the salary table is not part of your mapping. Just think about it. It's not part of your mapping. It's somewhere else. Okay, but employee number is 101, maybe it's a ABC. Okay, maybe location is a Hyderabad, and the same thing. I'm trying to load this data into my target by using a mapping. 101, employee name is ABC, but from where I have to get this salary information? I have to go to some other object and look up. Look up means what? Just look into that object and try to get my information. Here, my information is like this: 101, okay, and employee name is ABC, and his salary. Okay, so maybe let me take okay, so assume so he's having a salary here. So here, what exactly I'm doing? Employee number is 101. My data is like this: 101. Employee name is ABC, and salary is maybe 1000. Like this, my data is spread in this table. Okay, 102 and 103. Okay, maybe BCD and DEF, and this is a 2000 and 3000. For example, this is what my table, and so this is what my data over here also. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just like replicate the same records here. Don't get confused. I'll explain if you have any questions. The Bangalore, Chennai. Okay, now I supposed to load the data. Okay, this is how my structure. Now I built a mapping for the first record 101. Okay, employee number 101 is there, right? Was it there? Okay, and I'm taking the e name as an ABC, but coming to salary, I need to get it from some other table. Okay, now the concept comes of joins. So what exactly I'm doing? I'm trying to join my source with my lookup table or with my a third party table, or which is not part of my mapping. So what are the join common columns here? Employee number and employee number here. Normally, this is called a kind of a referential integrity. Okay, referential integrity. What is referential integrity? They're linking two tables with a primary key and foreign key concepts. Okay, maybe this one you might see like maybe think about this kind of a foreign key employee number over here, but like ultimately I'm joining these two tables by using a employee number. Okay, that's how I'm building the relationship now. So what exactly I'm doing? 101, yes, is there. E-name is there, but with salary, I don't have it. But what I will do, I'll look up on salary table. That is what the meaning of a lookup. I look up on salary table. Is 101 is matching? Yes, matching. Okay, what is the value? 1000. So get the 1000 and put it here. This is what my lookup activity. Okay, now. So maybe you will get a question. Now I can see 101 is matching here. But even I do have like a one more 101. What I do? Before 9.x, it used to get confused. Okay, and it used to ask you, hey, developer, what I supposed to do if I find two requests? Then you're supposed to select one mandatory option for this one. Okay, now before 9.x, only you used to get one value, either 1000 or 2000, or maybe you can error it out. But after 9.x, even you have a chance to get all these two records and load it into here. Means for the same 101 ABC, we'll have two records. That's okay, right?
We can keep formulas also.
It's not a formula, it's a concept.
Basically, we can keep VLOOKUP formula, and we can find out duplicate records on the same.
See, whatever you're saying, right? Maybe the VLOOKUP or whatever it is, right? That is only limited for your Excel.
Yeah.
And see, I'm just giving you a simple example to explain the concept, but it's not that easy. Okay, every time this is not the scenario.
Yes.
Okay, I'll explain like more scenarios also, but for now, I'm just trying to give the concept so that you can relate with the real world. Okay, maybe you're right. It's kind of a VLOOKUP only. But in the technically, VLOOKUP means what? Joining two things.
Yes.
Ultimately, a lookup is kind of a join only. Okay, but you are joining, you are performing kind of a left outer join. Okay, that's very, very important question. Please remember this one. What is the difference between lookup and joiner? A lookup also kind of a joiner, but it's kind of a left outer join. Maybe I'll come back to this in what is the left outer join, but think about this thing. Okay, now for every record, I do have like an option to get a salary. Okay, 103 and 102. Okay, the respective values are for 102. Oh yeah, maybe good question here. So 102. Okay, I don't have any kind of a record in my salary table. What value it's gonna come? See, for 101, I'm good. Okay, but 102, of course, I brought it into the dim employee table. But what the value here? What do you expect? Just give a wild guess. That's okay. Even it's wrong.
As it coming in serial 1000, 2000, it may take 3000.
Null value.
Null.
Exactly, null value. Yeah. See, it doesn't matter serial or what. See, the ultimate thing is 101 matching. Yes, matching. Then give the corresponding salary. 102 matching. No, it's not matching anywhere. Okay. Then what? I don't have anything. Just send a null value. 103 matching. Yes, 103 matching. Then give the respective value 3000. That's it. Okay. Now let me put in a maybe a general example. Okay, with a common sense. Like maybe everyone is trying to get a job, right? So what we will do, for example, you got selected for one of the company. Now you have to go for a maybe not you, but the company has to go for a background verification, right? So during the background verification, what will happen? So what you will do is like basically you will submit your inputs. Okay, what do you mean by inputs? Basically your education certificates, your experience certificates, everything. Okay, everything you will submit to, for example, the company organization name is maybe IBM. To IBM you submitted this thing. Okay, you are the person. Okay, you are the employee. Okay, you submitted your documents to IBM. Okay, but IBM cannot do this because IBM don't have your like education details or like your previous company details. What it will do, it will depend on a third party. The third party is a kind of lookup. Okay, so basically this IBM company will ask this third party, hey, I need so and so person details. Okay, that person is or like that the person is a kind of a source record. Okay, just put it in relation with your data. The third party is a kind of maybe whatever the university you studied, right? That is a university, and the kind of a result where you have to get it, you have to get it back to the IBM firm, right? So ultimately there are two instances. One is your IBM, okay, and the other one is like kind of a lookup one. Okay, that is kind of a third party which is looking into your data. Now I gave this third party, okay, like I need like a so and so person details. So from IBM I gave maybe XYZ employee details. Okay, I gave this Aadhaar card number. Okay, XYZ Aadhaar card number. What will happen is now this third party, okay, in my example, okay, maybe I'll try to relate it later. But if this third party, what it will do, it will try to go to that specific university. Okay, that university is a kind of a lookup or like maybe a kind of a source for the third party. Now this third party will get this Aadhaar information from here. Okay, now it will check all the other card numbers, whatever is listed here. Okay, so all the other cards it will check. If the other card is matching, it will give the corresponding value as yes, it is matching to this year. Okay, for example, XYZ other card is available. Okay, so then it will mark it as a yes. If it is not available, it will return with a null. If it is returning with null, means empty hands. That means that the employee is not studied, okay, in that particular organization or like maybe institution. Okay, now this is the maybe simplest example I can say, but now here key things you need to observe. IBM is your source, basically who is calling your lookup. Lookup means the third party here. Third party is a lookup transformation. Okay, just think like in a transformation. Lookup is a third party is a lookup transformation. The source, that is university, right? That is what your lookup table. The table can be anything. The table in this my example, in the previous example, that lookup table is my salary table. But lookup is a third party. Basically, lookup is a third party. The third party will take your source information. It will try to go to that salary table and it will sit on top of it and will try to compare the data. That is what the backend operation will be done. Okay, as part of the lookups. Now let's go back to the slides. Any questions, guys, on this one? Now, the same thing, whatever I put there, like in my examples, right, they put it in a maybe different format. So what exactly happens? First, your source will send the input value to lookup transformation. That is what my third party. And this third party will try to communicate with your university, the lookup source. Okay, it will get that input value from the source. That is what your Aadhaar card number, and it will go to that lookup source. And the lookup source will like there, like you will have a condition. Okay, here in this example, item ID equals to item ID. price less than or equal to price in price. Like this, you will do that Aadhaar card verification. Okay, the written thing is going to be key thing. If that Aadhaar card number is available, the written value will be something. Okay, maybe your name or like a year of graduation or whatever it is. If you didn't study it there, right, ultimately you will be end up with a null value. So, and the lookup responsibility is to send out those values to the next transformation. Okay, or maybe to the next unit. Okay, so that is what kind of a lookup operation. Any questions, guys, on this one? And please remember, joiners, lookups, we are entering into a deep kind of a depth of a subject. Okay, so and these are crucial also, and little bit complex too. Okay, so try to ask the question now. For every transformation, like we are focusing on the ports, right? Even for expression, right, there is like a input port, output port, variable port. For filter, input port, output port. For joiner, input port, output port, and master and detail ports. Okay, even the same way, lookups also have a different kind of ports. That is input port, output port. L denotes kind of a lookup port and return port. Clear? What is the return port? Whatever is returning from your lookup transformation is the return port. Okay, and what is the lookup port? Whatever the fields are participating as part of your lookup comparison, those are lookup ports. Any questions, guys, on this one? There are so many properties as part of the lookup. We'll go one by one. So, of course, there are like a lot of slides as well. Okay, for this slide up to now, just try to understand what is a lookup. Okay, once again, I'm repeating lookup transformation. Okay, maybe in the interviews, the way you're supposed to present it is, if anyone asks you what is a lookup transformation, lookup transformation is an Informatica object or Informatica Power Center object to look up, okay, on a given object. Okay, so lookup transformation is an object which is used to look up on some other object, either it is a part of mapping or not part of the mapping. Maybe another way. Okay, see, every concept you have to learn 7 variations. Okay, so then you get understand the concept clearly. Maybe if you get like a same situation with some different kind of explanation, lookup transformation is used to perform a left order join within another object, or lookup transformation is used to check the values. Okay, check the values in a object which is not part of your mapping. Okay, so what is the mapping? Hope by now everyone should able to relate what is a mapping. So mapping is a piece of code where you are performing your data loads. Okay, so that means even you can look up on any kind of an object, even though it's a part of your mapping or not part of your mapping. Okay, as long as if you are able to link up that in a session. Okay, and will you able to look up on a flat files? Will you able to look up on a relational objects? Will you able to look up on your target? Yes, you can look up on anything. Okay, clear? Now there is so much depth in lookup transformation because you need to understand the caches, you need to understand the persistency caches, you need to understand the reusable caches. So there are so many things. You need to understand the dynamic lookups. So basically, lookup transformation is having like a much depth compared to any other transformation in Informatica Power Center. Okay, so for now, just remember lookup is used to look up the data and retrieve the value from that lookup source. For now, what are the reusable transformation? For example, in a project, okay, maybe 100 people are working in a project, 100 developers are there. Okay, maybe it's a very difficult situation, like no project will have 100 developers, maybe 10 developers, okay, maybe realistic. So 10 developers are working in a project. Luckily, that project is having a kind of a flow, okay, or maybe a kind of a logic in a transformation. That logic is used across all the applications and across all the mappings. So now earlier what used to have is, okay, maybe of course it was never there. I'm just giving a hint. If this reusable transformation is not available, what's the problem you are going to face? This reusability is not there, right? You have every person has to build that logic, and every person has to test that logic. Every person has to go for like enhancements. Okay, if in case of anything. Okay, instead of that, how it will be? Only one person develop the logic, and all the 9 people will try to use the same logic. Even if in case of any changes also, only one person will change in one place and it will reflect everywhere. That will happens only when you make it as a reusable. Okay, whenever you make it as a reusable, right? Just create once and reuse it multiple times. Clear? I'll show you how to do that, but try to understand the concept. Here, we do have a lab now. Okay, so employee central east west. Okay, now we have to look up on the salaries.txt and load the data into stage underscore employees. Now let's go back to your mapping. Any questions till now?
No, Chaitanya.
Okay, now I came back to my designer, and guys who are attending the first class, right? So this is what like a designer where you build your code for Power Center. I'm just connecting to my repository. Okay, my target table name is stage underscore employees. Let's build the mapping now first. Guys, if this is the first class, right? If you don't understand, I can understand your situation, but at least if you are able to get the kind of an the feel, okay, how the class is happening, right? So that would be, at least that is what like my expectation for you guys. Okay, the rest of everything is like, you don't have to worry, because anyway you're going to join from the first day onwards, like in the next batch. Okay, fine. Whenever you're building a mapping, right, you need to remember two things. First thing, you need to understand what is your source. Second thing is what is your target. Okay, so as this document is only telling you what you have to do, that's it. Okay, but how you have to do, you have to figure it out a kind of a way. Okay, because as this lab belongs to a kind of a transformation, and that transformation logic you have to build here. Okay, that is what the kind of a motto build behind like the building this map. Now, what is my source? Always think whenever you are thinking about source and targets, right? Think in the different perspective, not like by reading the names. Look at the format of the sources, format of the targets. What is the format of my source? It's a flat file, right? From the flat files, I'm bringing the data into a relational table, that is Oracle table. And what is my lookup? My lookup is salaries.txt. That is also a flat file. And you observe one more thing. I'm having not like one file in my source. Okay, I'm having three files. So all these things, first you have to observe. Don't directly jump onto your mapping. Whenever you are starting the code, right? Always try to understand the data and what is the source, what is the target. Without understanding these things, don't even step into the mapping. Okay. Now I understood what exactly I'm supposed to do. Now try to understand the structure and data. First thing is get your sources and targets. My sources are like, employee central, east and west. Okay, by looking at these three files, right, first thing has to come in your mind, is it a direct load or indirect load? We already discussed about this thing. Direct load means one file and one source instance. Indirect load means multiple files. Okay, maybe 100 files or 200 files, doesn't matter, but only thing is structure supposed to be same. Just validate it once. Okay, so go to the Informatica directory. So that is what the best practice. So your files are there on Informatica source file directory. Even in the real time also, you'll have the same kind of structure. Okay, even you maintain here the same thing so that you'll use to that. Okay, here VLAN is my project name, but in the real time, you'll have your own project. The rest of the path is going to be same to same. Okay, so maybe few naming here and there, but like other than that, like it's kind of the same thing. The last thing is source file is same. Okay, the kind of a version. Right now I'm having 10.2, maybe few students are having 9.x version. Okay, and server is kind of the same. Maybe instead of info shared, sometimes the admins might rename this thing. Okay, but rest of everything is going to be same. Normally, typically, this is what going to be your path. Okay, here as is the Windows machine, you can see C colon and all these things. If it is a Linux machine, you will see a different directory. Okay, now what are my files? employee central, east, west. Try to understand the data first. What is there in central? Okay. Central, east, and west. So I open all three files. Okay. So what is the structure? Dealership ID, region, employee ID, first name, last name. Check it out in the east also. Same. Dealership ID, region, employee ID. Employee central also. Dealership ID, region, employee ID. And most of things are same because as I'm already aware of this thing, I'm blindly saying, okay, all are same. But like what you have to do is like you have to keenly look into that structure. Okay. Every column is same or not, or else you'll face a problem. Okay. And while building the mapping. Fine. Now I'm closing this thing. Let's go back. So we already discussed this concept like how to process indirect load, but anyway, I'm trying to put it again. So into the source, first take any one of the source structure, import from the flat files. Okay. Always remember sources has to get it from the source tab. Okay, and this source page. So here I'm trying to put like all files. Employee central. Okay, you can pick any file because structure is same in all three files. You can pick any file. Now it's a delimited file. Okay, all are separated with a comma, and as the headers are there, I need to select this option. Click on next, and I don't want to do any custom changes over here. Just click on next and click on finish. That's it. My structure is in my Power Center. Now save it. Okay, now go to the target. Always try to clean the space. Okay, don't delete, please. Okay, if you delete, right, it will completely off. Always try to clear all targets. Target is import from database because it is a database, and you already know this is in arc_stage because I'm trying to load the data into what stage_employees, right? So see the table. Click on OK. Now I have my target table. Now try to build the map. Okay. Now I got my default transformation called source qualifier and go to the target, get the stage_employees. I'm trying to minimize this. Anyway, so now try to understand the structure first. I already seen the data. Now I need to understand the structures also, right? Normally in real time, right? So you will have a kind of a design document as well as a source to target mapping matrix. Okay, by looking at those two documentation, you can understand the logic, or like not the logic, but you can understand the requirement. Logic you have to build it. Okay, so based on the requirement, you will try to build the logic by using the Informatica Power Center. Okay, that is what normally things happens. But as this is the project is designed by us, okay, I can tell you like what is the requirement here. So what I am doing here is what are the columns are needed in my target table, right? Whether all these columns are available or not. Okay, for that, normally kind of a temporary area, or maybe you can call it as a temporary transformation, which is expression transformation. I'm getting this one. We already discussed what is expression. Okay, but I'm trying to see what exactly available in target. I'm trying to maintain here. Employee ID, right? First one, yes. Come on. Okay, first one is there. Employee name, but here it's first name and last name. So what you have to do, so I will do one thing, maybe just for a shortcut. So employee name I brought here, and anyway, this employee number has to be built by using these two fields. Okay, so this is the one I have to build. And now address, city, state, zip code, country. See guys, I'm comparing basically this target to this one. Phone number, fax number, email, and gender. Salary is not there. Okay, salary part is not there. I have to derive the salary part. Okay, I don't have the salary from my this thing. Okay, just bring it here. Fine. Now again, age group. Even I don't have an age group, but I need to derive this one also. Okay, let's try to build the age group. Next, I don't have an age, but to build that age group, I need that age. Okay, next, native language, secondary language, third language, position type, and regional manager. Yes, is there. Dealership manager is there. Okay, hire date is there. Date entered is there. Now, one thing we are missing, that is a dealership ID. Okay, that is there on the top itself. Now I got my everything, like whatever is available, I just pointed. Whatever is not available, now it's my responsibility is to derive them. Like what exactly is there? One is employee name, I have to derive. Employee salary, I have to derive. Age group, I have to derive. These three things I have to derive. Okay. And one more thing you can observe. Hire date and date entered. These are in a date format. Okay. And dealership, sorry, here if you look at that hire date and date entered, right? These are in a string format. So even I need to perform a kind of a conversion for this one. Okay, these are a couple of requirements basically, and we did like almost like everything in last lab. Maybe we are trying to repeat the same thing now. Okay, now employee name. So normally, as I brought it like just as a shortcut, I brought it right. So that's the reason it's just showing as an input. Now I'm making it as an output. Here I have to define. Okay, how I'm going to define employee name. Open this thing. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to concatenate that first name and last name. That is what my goal, to get employee name. First name and last name. Last time we used the function concat. This time I'm just using a simple pipe symbol and valence. Click on OK. Okay, now my employee name is ready. Same way I have to do for age group. Okay, for age group also what I'm doing, just make it as a input and output, and make it as an output then. Age group. So normally I use like a deport function to derive this thing. I'm evaluating it to true. Excuse me. So this age greater less than 30. Okay. So what I'm saying is young age greater than or equal to 30, and oh, that's okay. I don't want to complicate this thing, just like maybe middle age. Okay. Else, maybe you can put as an old age. That's okay. Anyway, whatever is coming as like this thing, right? Like everything is kind of middle age. Okay. So just like if you want to add like a more logic, okay, you can put it. For now, I'm just going with these things. Okay, young and middle age. Fine. Now my age group also ready, right? Now the next thing, salary, right? So salary, I will come back again. Okay. So maybe I'm just moving on to the last two parts. Date entered, as you know how to copy paste. Okay. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to convert the data types because it's showing as a string. What I need is as in date and time. Okay, now let's make it as an output port. We already did this logic. I don't want to spend much time. I'm not focusing on explanation, at least for this one, because we already discussed them multiple times, these functions. Okay, I'm doing like a sub str. Basically, I'm taking this one and I'm trying to convert this thing into dd yy. Okay, and the function is this one. Yeah, it's a little bit lengthy function. Basically, there is what like str. Okay. So basically what I'm doing is, whatever the data is coming from my source, right? I'm trying to trim the spaces, okay? So that like I don't have any trailing spaces. Then I'm taking the like a first to 10 because I just want like MMDD YY format. And I'm converting that into date. Okay, that's what I'm doing here. Maybe I have to repeat the same thing for another data as well. Okay, that is what the next one. Higher date. Always validate this. Okay, now see, this is what like we did like even from yesterday onwards, like we are doing the same thing. But one new thing, what we learned today is lookup transformation. You agree? So what is the lookup transformation? To look up on something which is not coming from my source, because salary is nowhere available. I have to derive the salary. I was able to derive everything except the salary. For that, what I have to do, I have to look up look at your requirement. Where I have to look up salaries.txt. Okay, so first you have to bring that salaries.txt. Okay, so then first you check it out whether you have the file or not. That is what your primary thing you have to check. So in your file, salaries is available. Try to open the thing and try to see employee ID and salary. So what is your source structure? Employee is available or not? Yes. Okay. So what I will do now, I will pass this employee ID, whatever is coming from source, into my lookup, and I'll try to get the salary. That is what my goal now. For that, you have to get the lookup transformation. As I'm aware of these shortcuts, I'm directly bringing it. But if you are not aware of this thing, directly go to transformation and you can create it and you can get it. Okay, create. Just select and drop down, check for the lookup. Okay, lookup and give a meaningful name. Okay, lookup salary. Create. Now it will ask on top of where, I mean, from where I have to get this lookup values. Okay, where exactly I need to sit. For that, you already have the requirement, like basically you are supposed to get it from the a kind of a flat file. That is a lookup flat file. But do you have that flat file? Anywhere in targets, I don't have it. Okay, but anywhere you have this thing. No, right? So that's the reason what you have to do is first import that one. Okay, so I don't have it in target, I don't have it in source. Okay, then what you have to do? You have to import that. From where? From flat file. It's always from flat file. No, only for this example, I'm bringing it from the flat file. But in other areas, maybe you can look up from a relation object as well. Excuse me. Okay. The same thing, whatever you did for the source and targets, the same thing you have to do here. Next, finish. Now I got my lookup. Observe this thing. I'm not taking it as a source or target. I'm taking it as a kind of a lookup transformation. This is what a transformation. Now what I'm doing, I'm sending this employee ID from whatever is coming from my source. Okay, employee ID. Now you can observe employee ID 1. Okay, because both the names are same, so it should not be like that. That's the reason it's created like a 1. But for the sake of better understanding, what I will do is I rename this thing as input port, which is coming from an input or like a source transformation. Now, if you look up the lookup transformation, right, you can see input, output, lookup, return. We'll discuss about this return later and lookup later. For now, try to understand how this lookup is functioning. Where exactly I'm looking up, you have to go to the properties to see that. Okay, where is that? So if you come here, right? Okay, so maybe if you look at this thing, so all these things, right, like the directory name. Okay, so this is what a kind of a properties you have to set up. Okay, but for now you can ignore these things. Okay, for now just think about a kind of how this functioning basically. But with caches and from where exactly it's building the data, everything I'll explain later. I don't want you to confuse now because lookup is definitely worth of 2 to 3 classes. It's not that easy. And then now the key thing for me is kind of a condition. Okay, I have to build a condition. Okay, employee ID equals to employee ID. By default, it picked up this condition. Okay, if you want to change it, you can change it. That's okay. Click on apply. Now fine. Now try to link the salary port to salary. Okay, salary to salary. Fine. My lookup job is done. Okay. Now try to focus on other fields like employee ID. Yes, send it to employee ID. And employee name. Yes, send it to employee name. Because first name, last name, I just build it as an employee name, right? So now address, state, phone number, email, gender, everything being as it is. Okay, now age group, I did build one port. Native, position type, regional manager, and dealership ID, I think wrongly I connected. Okay, maybe remove this. Third language, right? So next position type. Okay. Dealership ID and then regional manager. Okay, now hire date again. So dates part also I changed. Hire date out and date entered. Okay, I think I did something wrong here. Dealership manager, I wrongly connected to this. Okay, dealership manager, and dealership ID, basically it's here. Now all the columns are ordered. Now only one thing you have to observe is lookup. Okay, the main objective of this mapping. Now save it. Now it's showing kind of an invalid. So now you have to understand what is the error. Okay. So to see that error, why it's invalid, right? So try to go here. It is invalid. Why? Expression field employee salary. Okay. So invalid symbol reference. Try to see what exactly happening in the transformation expression trans. Okay. In this transformation, employee salary. Where is employee salary? This one is an output port. Okay. But am I linking with anything? Employee salary. No, I'm not linking with anything. And there is no assignment, there is no output also. So that's the reason it's giving an error. But ultimately, I'll come back to this example, okay? How to get this employee salary.
I'm sorry. Should be decimal or a number?
Doesn't matter. Maybe you can put a number or decimal, but like normally it will be in numbers only. Okay. But like decimal will allow even the numerical part.
Okay.
Okay. But here the problem here is I'm sending it as an output, but I'm not nowhere I'm sending this in. See if I go and select this thing, right? Just value it will be error. Okay, can you see? Set it out because there is no value like employee salary coming from source. I created this thing. The reason is like I just want to showcase. Okay, I have to build somewhere the logic to get this employee salary. But where I'm building that logic, I'm building that logic by using a lookup transformation, not from here. But will you able to do this even from here? Will you able to call the lookup transformation? Yes. But for now, I'm not doing that. Okay, maybe in the next example, I'll show you how to do that. Now save it again. Now it's valid. You understand, right? How to track the error is kind of a key thing, guys. Okay, development anyone will do. Sometimes you'll get success, sometimes you'll get failure. But when you get a failure, debugging that is kind of a real skill. Fine. Now you're good with this thing, right? Now just move on, guys. Now I built a mapping. Now I'm trying to build a session. You all know, right? How to build a session. Now my session might be ready. Just I'm trying to reconnect to my workflow manager where you have all the session details. And remember one thing, whenever you're using a lookup transformation, right, the way you configure your source, the same way you're supposed to configure your lookup also. The path, okay, VLAN is my path. And for this one, as I mentioned earlier, try to mention as a normal and as a target, I mean, stage table, right? Always try to mention it as a truncate. And the connection is Oracle underscore stage. And coming to lookup, as I mentioned, just try to mention the path where exactly your files are there. Okay. And check it out, like, is it your file name is the same thing? So basically, the salaries. Okay, not like lkp underscore sal dot txt. Okay, apply. Okay, but one thing you have to remember for source, right? Basically, it's kind of an indirect load, not a direct load. Remember the point. And here for the employee central also, you have to maintain a indirect file, not the regular file. Excuse me. So here you have to maintain the list. Guys, who are attending this first time, right? You might get confused what I'm doing. So there are two kind of a concepts, direct load and indirect load. In the indirect load, for a source, you will use kind of a file which is having the path. Okay, because even if you're having 100 files also, you can put it here. Okay, that's not a problem. But ultimately, this is going to be your source. Now I'm trying to use this path file, okay, as my point of extraction. Okay, and make sure it's an indirect load, it's not a direct load. And I'm good with this. Okay, and even I'm good with this thing. Now save it, it's valid. Now try to execute it. I'm trying to log into the monitor where I can observe the results. Stage employees got failed. Now try to see why it got failed. Error opening so and so file salaries.txt. The reason is it's already open somewhere. Okay, salaries.txt where it's open. Salaries.txt operating system error. The system cannot find the path specified. Okay, maybe info shared lookup files. This is what the wrong. Okay, it's not like info shared lookup files. The path is this one, right? Info shared source files. So maybe the mistake what I did was supposed to be under the salaries one, right? It's supposed to be under lookup files. Okay, so this is what my lookup file folder. Now it makes sense. So lookup files, then VLAN, then salaries. Okay, here I need to maintain a new directory VLAN. The real time also you'll see the same problems, guys. Okay, try to understand this thing. Even practice in the same pattern. When you practice like this for like maybe 100 sessions or 100 jobs, you will use to this kind of an approach. Okay, my path is matching. Fine. Now try to rerun the job. Now my job is completed successfully. All 109 records are uploaded. As part of the unit testing, what you have to focus now? So focus should be on data. Okay. Now, am I getting the salaries the way I expect? Like select star from excuse me, employees. Okay. Now, if you look at the salary, right? Maybe I'll do one thing instead of star, comma. Where is the problem, guys? Select employee ID, comma, employee salary from stage employees. Somewhere, select.
So text employee salaries.
Salary.
That's what I'm looking for. Like, so do you see that? Yeah, salary. Right. Thank you. Okay, now check it out like for any record, right? So 86437, what is the salary, actual salary in the salary file? That is how you have to check. Control F. Okay, so I can see for 86437, 58100. 58100. Okay, so this is how basically you have to do testing. Okay, whether I'm getting a salaries properly or not. Okay, maybe randomly pick like a 1 to 5 records. Okay, is this clear, guys? Any questions on lookup? This is a basic lookup transformation. Any questions? Okay, fine. Let's move on. Now, the reusability, right? So let's focus on the reusability. For example, right now I'm using this expression transformation. Yesterday also we have seen the same kind of logic, okay, multiple times, right? But my structures are not going to be changed, okay? So then what I can do is, if you look at first, you try to understand the folder structures. This is for the sources. This is for the targets. Do you see anything in the transformation folder? Nothing, right? What I will do is I'll open this thing, make it reusable. Okay, once you make it reusable, you cannot revert it back. Just remember that point. Yes, apply. Okay, now you will see this is available here. Wherever you want, you just pull it and use in that packet. Okay. So with that, what like whatever the logics I built, right? I need not to rework on this thing. Anyone from my team can use this expression transformation now. Right? Just like a source, right? Source also I brought only one time. Anyone can use this thing. Same way, even I can use the transformation also in the same pattern. Clear, right? Any questions on this one? There is another way also to make these transformations as reusable. If I am building any transformation from developer, that will be automatically kind of a reusable one. Okay. So for example, if I'm building any transformation in the transformation developer, it is going to be considered as a reusable transformation. Clear, right? There are two ways to make a transformation reusable. Fine. Let's move on. Now, guys, this is what the lab you all supposed to perform. Okay, there is a dates txt file. You're supposed to load the data into stage dates. I'll try to showcase what exactly you guys supposed to do. Okay, then I will take the Q&A session. So now what I'm saying is, in my source, I do have a dates. Go to source files. Okay, date ID and corresponding date. Okay, let me bring this into my designer. Create m underscore stage underscore dates. Guys, without this, you cannot move the lab for sure. Okay, this is a crucial mapping. Now, first part is get the source. Better clear. Get the source. What is my source? Dates, right? Okay, import fields from the first name, and it's a comma delimited. I'm not changing these properties. Next, and this one, right? Basically, it's coming as a date. Okay, I'm taking as it is as a date. Oh, sorry. Let me try again. Delimiter fine. Sorry. This one is okay. This one is the date ID, perfect. And this one is a kind of a date, and it's coming just like a regular text. I need to change it. Date and time. Maybe if you wanna do a practice, right, you can get it as a string. Okay, then try to convert it into a kind of a date. Okay. Maybe that's the best practice. Okay, let it be text only. Okay, fine. So whenever you are trying to bring it again, I'm just selecting is apply all tables, replace. I didn't do any change, guys. Okay, initially I thought to bring it as a date only, but as you need to understand what is the importance of the variable puts, right? So maybe with this you will get understand. Now I have my source. Save this. Get the target. Okay, I have my target now. Now build a map. Dates. Targets will be under target hierarchy. Okay. Dates. Now try to see what exactly you have to do. I just have two. Okay, in my source. Rest of all, like you do have so many things here. First thing is you have to convert the date into date format. Okay, that's the first thing. Date ID, yes, you do have, and you can put it here. Day of the month. Okay, now look at the data. Okay, for example, this is the date coming, right? So day of the month. Okay, that is what like the first field, right? So for example, today is like the what 15th, right? So what day of this month? This is like 15th day in this month. Okay, so whatever the number is here, right? That is going to be your the day of that specific month. Month number, it is 11. Year value, okay, 2022. Okay, the day of the week. I'm just taking example of today's date. Okay, but in your example here, this one maybe 1422 15 for every record you have to apply that logic, but you don't have to worry. Only once you will build the logic and that will be applicable for every record. Okay, but you need to understand the column logic here. Day of the year. Okay, so now 2022 is November 15th, so you have to write a logic to derive this November 15th what day in that year. Try to use your brains. Okay, it's kind of an exercise for your brain. Think the logic. Month of the year. What month is this thing? November, 11th month of this year. Week of the year. Like normally we'll have like a 52 or like 53 weeks, right? So what week? The November second week is coming in. So days overall. Till now, how many days are completed? Week overall, how many weeks are completed? Month overall, how many months are completed? Year. Till now, maybe zero you take as a consideration. How many years overall? So holiday indicator. So this thing is like your wish list. Okay, every person will, every organization or like everyone will follow their own holidays, but maybe you can consider according to your own rule. Okay, I don't want to put any restrictions out here on the holidays. So work day, Monday to Friday is work day, weekend is Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so if any date is coming as a Saturday, Sunday, right, you have to indicate that as a weekend. Okay, quarter of the year. So right now, which quarter we are in? We are in the last quarter. Okay, so that is like fourth quarter in this year. So season. I'm just talking about again. I'm reminding you for today's date, but in your example, right, dates are different. Okay, just think how you are going to do that. Last day in a month. Okay, so for this month, November, what's the last day? For that, first you have to derive what month you are getting. Based on that, you have to derive last day in this quarter. You are in the fourth quarter. What is that last day? Last day in a year. Okay, December 31st, which day is coming for 2022 in my example, but in your example, for each and every record, you have to derive that logic. Anyway, guys, will you able to do this thing? Will you able to take up this challenge? When you finish, when you are able to finish this thing, right? Okay, you will be master of expression transformation, at least on the date functions, for sure. Okay, even in the interview also you can mention this one of the scenario. Maybe I can give you another hint also. Okay, how you are going to do all these things? First thing is you have to get all these columns just like in the shortcuts. Okay, because I need to derive everything, right? And all these are kind of output ports only. So don't worry about that. All these are output ports because nothing is coming from my source. Okay. Now, of course, they are not input. All are like output only. You do have an option to here, like to derive like a variable codes or like, see, you can do like a, you can play around with all kind of logics. That is what like it is designed for. Earlier, the first mapping, right? That is what built for like how to debug the session log. Okay, that is the best example to debug in the session log and to look into that and analyze in the session log what kind of an error is coming. That session is for that same. And this one is for to sharpen your kind of any common sense or maybe your logical skills. Okay, now, so what suggestion I can give, for example, day of the month, open this thing or open this date functions. All these are the kind of date functions, guys. Okay, so maybe I can give an example for this one. So get date part. Okay, try to use this one, you will understand, and try to see the test data. Okay, last day. Okay, and set date part. You can separate like month, day, or like maybe year, whatever it is, whatever they're asking for. So you can try to use all these functions. These are the functions basically you're supposed to use. Okay, and try to derive that map. Clear, right? Everyone, will you able to do this?
Yeah, Chaitanya, I'll try.
Yeah, just give it try. Take it as a serious note. Like you have to do like two things. One is analyzing the first mapping. Okay, so there is the fixed width file one, and this is the second one, guys. If you are able to complete this thing, you will be mastering expression and debugging the sessions. Okay. Okay, that's all from my end. Okay, now let's take the questions if you have any.
Chaitanya, can you explain about this lookup caches?
We do have like separate session for lookup caches. See,
So,
lookup is spread across multiple classes, not like a one-day class. So after that, like we even maybe after this session, right, we have to discuss about the caches, we have to discuss about alternate lookups, dynamic lookup. So there are multiple things to discuss.
okay, Chaitanya.
But like before we go to that session, right, like I want you to practice on the lookup, at least the basic level. Then you will understand those things, or else it's very difficult to catch.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that.
Guys. Okay. If not, we can wind up the session. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Chaitanya.
Bye bye. Good night.
Bye.